Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Speak English Pod, the podcast where we help you build confidence and improve your English in a way that's easy and fun. I'm David, and with me today is my awesome co-host, Sarah. How are you, Sarah?
Hi, David. I'm doing great and super excited to be here. Hello to all our listeners. We're really looking forward to this journey with you to make your English learning experience as enjoyable and effective as possible.
That's right, Sarah. Whether you're just starting out or looking to polish your skills, we've got something for everyone. In each episode, we're going to talk about different challenges people face while learning English, and we'll give you practical tips and advice to overcome them. We'll also share some funny and relatable stories, because learning English doesn't have to be boring, right?
Absolutely. So in today's episode, we're diving into the topic of the fear of making mistakes when learning English. We all feel it at some point, but trust us, it's a normal part of the process. We'll explore why this fear happens, how to overcome it, and why making mistakes is actually one of the best ways to learn.
Exactly. So if you're ready to get started and face those fears head on, let's jump right in. So Sarah, let's kick things off by talking about one of the biggest obstacles that English learners face, the fear of making mistakes. I'm sure many of our listeners have felt this before, right?
Oh, definitely, David. It's something we hear all the time. A lot of learners freeze up at the thought of saying something wrong. They start thinking, what if I make a mistake? What if people don't understand me? What if I sound silly?
And that fear can be paralyzing, right? Instead of speaking, they just stay quiet, worried about being judged. But here's the thing. Making mistakes is actually a crucial part of learning a language. It's how we improve.
Exactly. Even native speakers make mistakes. They mispronounce words, forget grammar rules, or use slang incorrectly. But they keep talking. They don't stop, and neither should you. The more you speak, the better you get. It's all about practicing and pushing through that fear.
That's a great point, Sarah. And I think another reason why people are afraid of mistakes is the pressure to sound perfect. They feel like they have to speak flawlessly, but in reality, language is about communication, not perfection.
Right. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time, English speakers included. So instead of stressing over every little error, we should focus on getting our message across and improving through practice.
So to everyone listening, remember, mistakes are not a sign of failure. They're a sign that you're trying, and that's how learning happens. Embrace them and keep speaking. All right, Sarah, we've established that fear of mistakes is a big reason why learners hesitate to speak. But let's dive into another issue that holds people back: overthinking.
Yes, overthinking is such a common problem. Many learners spend so much time thinking about every single word, worrying about grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. And by the time they're ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on.
Exactly. It's like they're stuck in a loop, thinking too much and never actually speaking. But here's the thing. Overthinking doesn't help your fluency. The more time you spend thinking, the more you block yourself from actually practicing.
And overthinking also makes you nervous. You're constantly analyzing everything instead of just relaxing and speaking naturally. The truth is, the more you overthink, the harder it becomes to actually say anything.
Right. You can't learn a language by thinking about it too much. The key is to start speaking and let the brain catch up. Just like a baby doesn't wait until they know everything perfectly before they start talking, we need to speak as much as possible, even if we make mistakes.
So, to all of you out there, don't let overthinking stop you. Just take a deep breath and focus on getting your words out. The more you speak, the more your brain will naturally improve your skills over time.
Exactly. Start speaking first and your brain will take care of the rest. Overthinking only holds you back. So just start talking. So now that we understand why overthinking is such a big obstacle, the next question is, how do we stop overthinking and start speaking?
Great question, David. The first step is to make a shift in how we approach language learning. Instead of waiting for everything to be perfect, focus on speaking. As much as possible, even if you make mistakes.
Right. It's all about practice, not perfection. The more you practice speaking, the more confident and comfortable you'll get. And don't worry about grammar or pronunciation at first. Just focus on getting your ideas out there.
Exactly. One way to do this is by using simple sentences. Don't try to impress people with long, complicated phrases. Start small and work your way up. For example, instead of saying, "I would like to discuss the importance of good communication skills," just say, "Let's talk about communication." Simple is always better.
And here's another tip. Try shadowing. This is a fantastic technique where you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say. It helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. You can do this with podcasts, YouTube videos, or even TV shows.
Yes, shadowing is an amazing way to mimic the natural flow of a language. You don't have to worry about what you're saying as much as you do about how you're saying it. It helps your brain get used to the natural rhythm of English.
And one more thing. Practice speaking out loud even if you're just talking to yourself. You don't always need a conversation partner to practice. You can describe your day, your surroundings, or even practice a short monologue in front of a mirror.
Exactly. The more you speak, the more natural it will feel. And remember, making mistakes is a part of the learning process, so don't be afraid of them. Embrace them as a sign that you're improving.
So to summarize, don't wait for perfection. Just start speaking. Use simple sentences. Practice shadowing. Speak out loud on your own, and most importantly, don't fear making mistakes. The more you speak, the easier it will become.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ways to stop overthinking and just speak. But there's something else that's crucial. For improving your fluency, confidence. David, why do you think confidence is so important in overcoming the tendency to overthink?
That's a great question, Sarah. Confidence is the key to breaking the cycle of hesitation. If you're not confident, you'll constantly second-guess yourself, which leads to overthinking. But once you believe in your ability to communicate, even imperfectly, it becomes much easier to just speak.
Exactly. Confidence allows you to push through the fear of making mistakes. When you're confident, you don't worry about every single word or sound. You focus on getting your message across, and that's the whole point of speaking.
And here's the thing. Confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere. You build it by practicing, by putting yourself in situations where you have to speak, and by seeing that it's okay to make mistakes. The more you speak, the more confident you become.
Absolutely. And one way to boost your confidence is to remember that most native speakers don't speak perfectly all the time. They make mistakes, they pause, they fumble with words, but they keep going because the most important thing is communication, not perfection.
Right. And once you stop worrying about being perfect, you actually sound more natural. You'll notice that when you stop hesitating, people will listen to you more. Not because you have flawless grammar, but because you're speaking confidently.
It's true. Confidence makes a huge difference. And one way to build that confidence is to challenge yourself. Set small speaking goals for yourself each day. For example, commit to speaking for just 5 minutes in English each day, no matter what.
Exactly. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from taking action, from speaking, from making mistakes, and from learning. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Speak now and let your confidence grow over time.
All right. Now that we've discussed why overthinking is a barrier to speaking fluently and the importance of confidence, let's move on to something even more exciting, practical tips to help you speak without overthinking.
Yes, and these tips are all about helping you get started. The key here is to make speaking English a natural part of your daily life. And the first tip is really simple but powerful. Think in English.
Exactly. If you're always translating from your native language in your head, you're giving yourself extra work and wasting time. Your brain needs to get used to processing thoughts directly in English. For example, when you're doing something as simple as making coffee, describe what you're doing in English. Say to yourself, "I'm pouring the coffee into the mug," or "I'm stirring it."
That's right. You're not trying to speak perfectly, you're just making the language part of your daily thoughts. And it makes speaking in English much more automatic. The more you practice this, the faster the words will come to you when you need them.
And here's another tip. Don't worry about grammar too much. I know it sounds crazy, but when you're in the middle of a conversation, your priority should be getting your message across. If you stop to think about every little grammatical detail, you're going to slow yourself down and start overthinking.
Exactly. And this brings us to another tip. Practice speaking by yourself. Many learners think they need a partner to practice, but honestly, you can practice on your own. Talk to yourself in front of a mirror or describe things around you. This is a great way to build your speaking muscle without worrying about mistakes or interruptions.
And don't forget about shadowing. This method is when you listen to a native speaker, whether it's from a podcast, YouTube video, or movie, and immediately repeat what they say. This helps you mimic their pronunciation, rhythm, and natural flow of speech, and it's one of the fastest ways to improve.
That's a fantastic technique. And here's one more tip. Keep it simple. Don't stress yourself out by trying to create long, complex sentences. Use short, clear sentences instead. For example, instead of saying, "I would really appreciate it if you could give me some assistance with this task," just say, "Can you help me with this?"
Exactly. The goal is communication, not perfection. And lastly, immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Listen to English podcasts, watch movies, read books, anything that gets the language into your daily routine.
And remember, set a speaking challenge for yourself. Challenge yourself to speak English for 5 minutes every day. Even if you don't know every word, just keep talking, and you'll see improvements.
So, to sum it up, think in English. Don't worry about grammar. Practice by yourself. Try shadowing. Keep your sentences simple. Immerse yourself in English and set speaking challenges. These tips will help you start speaking more confidently and naturally without overthinking.
We've covered a lot today, haven't we, Sarah? We've talked about why overthinking can be a huge obstacle when learning to speak English, the power of confidence, and practical tips to break the cycle of overthinking.
Exactly. And remember, it's all about practice and consistency. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become. Don't expect to be perfect right away. Language learning is a journey, not a race. The important thing is to keep going.
Exactly. So, if you've been listening to today's episode, I hope you feel more confident and ready to start speaking English without fear of mistakes. Remember, mistakes are part of the learning process.
Yes, and don't be afraid to try out the tips we shared today. Practice speaking in English every day. Focus on communicating and let go of the need to be perfect.
And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who are also learning English. Your support means a lot to us and helps us continue creating content that can help you improve your language skills.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, leave a comment or message. We love hearing from our listeners.
So thanks again for tuning into this episode of Speak English Pod. Keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, speaking English is all about connecting with others and enjoying the process. We'll see you next time.
Take care and happy speaking.